97X. If you head on over to the 97X Facebook page, not only will you see our beautiful babe of the day, Alexandria, you'll also see a discussion that I posted yesterday because I knew I was going to talk about today, but I really wanted to know what people thought because had seen a discussion about this on, I think it was Reddit, and there was a lot of different opinions, just like there was on the Facebook page when I posted this. Damn near almost 100 comments, and they are all over the place. And the discussion was, should women in relationships accept free drinks from strangers? And we're taking the fact that, yes, I understand that there are very real dangers of, the drinks being drugged, but we're taking that out of the discussion. Because, yes, it happens very unfortunately. It does happen. I have friends that this has happened to, and there are certain places they will never go again because it happened to them one time at that place. And, I totally understand, and it's a horrible thing, and I'm so glad that nothing ended up happening to them. But, we're taking that out of the discussion. This is a strictly moral discussion of is it right or wrong for women in relationships, serious relationships, to accept drinks. And before I get to the Facebook comments, I just want to say for me, my opinion is it really depends on the kind of person that you're with. Is this a jealous type of man? Because if he is jealous and controlling and, he'll start a fight over somebody even offering to buy you a drink, having no prior knowledge that you're in a relationship, by the way, because I've seen that happen. I have seen guys flip out because somebody offered to buy their woman a drink. That guy didn't know the woman, okay? He just thought she was pretty, went up to her, took a shot, and there's never a reason to freak out over something like that, okay? Unless, maybe if she's cheated on you before and you see her over there talking and, you think that she might be flirting with some guy in front of you, even still, that's a dumb reason to freak out, all right? So please don't do that. Please stop doing that, all right? Not everyone is trying to steal your girlfriend, all right? Some people don't know. So getting that out of the way because that is a big deal. I just want to know, what do you think? Is it right or wrong? And for me, it depends. Because the relationships that I've been in, I never had a problem with it, ever. Because oftentimes, actually most of the time, they said yes, let the person know that they were in a relationship, would point me out, and say that, hey, thank you. But you let them know before they even buy the drink. Unless they're one of those people that just goes, put it on my tab. And in which case, what are you supposed to do? You can either say no, or you can say, hey, I'm in a relationship. But the way it would happen in the relationships that I was in, is they would let them know in advance, like, hey, I appreciate that, but my boyfriend's here with me. And if they choose to buy it anyway, that's great. Or sometimes, and this has happened in relationships that I've been in, they didn't tell anybody. They just accepted the drink, walked back to me, said, hey, this guy bought me a drink, and we split it. It happens. Is that morally wrong? I don't know. But the one thing that I did want to get to before we even got to your Facebook comments, because I will get to those, there was a very good point that was brought up, which was, if somebody buys you a drink, does that automatically mean that you owe them a conversation? Absolutely not. Somebody buying you a drink does not mean you owe them anything. You don't owe them any of your time. You don't even owe them your name, because that is a stupid thing that a lot of douchey guys will think that, hey, I bought you a drink, so automatically you owe me something. No, that is not the case. And anybody who thinks that is a douche, okay? No woman owes you anything because you bought her a drink. If you're stupid enough to do that, and she walks away and then you get mad, which I have also seen happen, then you kind of screwed yourself, all right? Because no one asked you to do it. No one asked you to buy her anything. That is a stupid trick that a lot of guys think is an instant access to her pants. It's not, all right? It's an outdated way of thinking. So the Facebook comments were all over the place. Some people just straight up said no. 2 letters, no explanation why. Is there anything wrong, or is it okay for them to accept drinks? Then they just said no. Some friends of mine chimed in. My friend Cassie wrote no, unless it's someone that you both know as a friend and it's clearly a friendship-based thing. All right, that's, how your relationship works. It's different for every individual person. Jenny wrote, if it's a friend that both parties know, then yeah, friends buy friends round. But if it's a stranger, no. It's disrespectful to your partner. But she also says that she's old school. And while I can understand that, it may be disrespectful to you, but then again, it also comes down to what you and your partner agree upon, and because it's not a thing that happens often, at least not something that I see, because I'm a guy. Not many people are buying me drinks. But if it does happen and, you're a good-looking girl and it happens quite often, then maybe that's a conversation that needs to be had if it keeps happening. If it only happens once, just say no, move on. But if it keeps happening, the conversations that I've had are, hey, if it's a free drink, it's a free drink. Just let them know before they even whip out their credit card or whatever that you're in a relationship and you're not interested. But then again, another argument comes down to, do they have to tell anybody that they're in a relationship or just say no? Well, it kind of depends, because when a guy's buying you drinks, there are, there's that whole assumption that he is trying to sleep with you or get to know you or whatever. So do you owe him an explanation? Not really. You can just walk away. But really the right thing to do is, I would say, just let him know you're in a relationship and move on, because that way the guy doesn't get upset. Not that you have to protect his feelings or anything, but if he's doing it in a nice way, the nice thing to do is to just say, no thanks, I'm in a relationship, or, whatever. And if he still wants to buy it anyway, you can say no, but hey, it's a free drink, And again, I know that there are dangers in this world, but again, we are taking that out of the conversation. And I do want to get to some more comments. I will be right back with the pros of this. And somebody actually sent me a message on Facebook that was a little bit weird, because it had to do with this conversation. And they had some very interesting points that I just can't agree with at all. I'll be right back. 97X. So I was talking about, is it morally okay for women to accept drinks in bars, and posted this on the 97X Facebook page, and a lot of great comments. A lot of comments I just straight up cannot agree with, because you're allowed to have your opinion, but just some of the reasons for why you say it's not okay just baffle me, because I just really can't think that way. And what I'm saying is, there are people that are saying that people in serious relationships shouldn't be out at the bars drinking. Hey, hang on. Why the hell not? What are you saying here? Are you saying that, they should just be at home all the time? Because some people like going out. It's not everybody wants to be a homebody. And I get that there's more and more now because of the pandemic and lockdown, and people just, aren't going out as often. But saying that people in serious relationships should not be in bars or putting themselves in that situation is kind of a weird thing to say to me, because, and there are people that are saying, why are people in serious relationships in a position to decide whether or not to take a drink from someone? Well, have you ever been to a bar before? Oftentimes women go with other people. If there is a woman drinking alone, oftentimes I assume that she's not in a relationship. So, there's that. But if I see a lot more women in groups. So how many of them are in significant other relationships? Are they not allowed to go out with girlfriends, or are they only allowed to go out with you, is what you're saying? And the question of why are people in serious relationships in a position to decide because that's how the world is. You know, people go out. If a girl breaks from the pack to go order a drink, a guy sees her by herself and, you know, thinks she's attractive and wants to buy her a drink. That's not her putting herself in any position. That's her just out in the world. That's how that works, all right? Saying that is kind of mean. Saying that they shouldn't be putting themselves in that position. You mean they shouldn't be going out and trying to have a good time? And I understand that, you know, people don't want to be bothered by guys if they're in relationships, but, you know, it's an easy thing to just say no thanks. Saying they shouldn't be putting themselves in that position that kind of sucks. That's not okay. And other people are saying, you know, people in relationships are drinking at home. Again, not all of them, because I have many friends in relationships that come out without their significant others. They just come out because they wanted to have a night out. Maybe their boyfriend or girlfriend didn't want to go. They don't have to be attached at the hip at all times. You're allowed to have, you know, alone time, or not even alone time, but you're allowed to go out with your friends and just, you know, have a couple of drinks without upsetting anybody. I don't know where these people's logic is coming from. And again, this is all up to your relationship and how it works, but that is not how mine works. If I'm in a relationship and she wants to go out with her friends, she is more than welcome to do so, as long as she comes home to me. Because I've had relationships, very good-looking girls, where they'd go out with their friends and they would tell me, "Hey, this guy, he bought us all drinks." I'm like, "All right, just be careful." That's it. I'm just a more trusting person when I'm in a relationship, apparently. And a lot of people were commenting like, yeah, it's perfectly fine for women to accept these drinks because in this economy, you can't afford them. So go ahead and get them free drinks, which is funny, but I also agree with that. You know, somebody wants to buy you a drink, hey, that's one less you have to buy. And I do agree with what Heather commented. She said, I guess it depends on the content of why the drink is being bought. People in serious relationships going to the bar alone on a regular basis are probably escaping something and vulnerable to outside influences, regardless of male or female, which I understand that. I do. If you're in a relationship and you're going out to the bar alone often, then there's something wrong with your relationship already. I agree with that. And I agree with Devin, who wrote, 100% it's okay. She smiles, says thank you, then walks back over to the partner and say, that guy bought me a drink. That's the way that me personally, I think it should be handled. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. But if you do want it, smile, say thank you, you know, and let them know that you're in a relationship. But I do want to get to this message that I got last night after I'd already posted this. And it was from somebody who was saying that, and this is ridiculous to me. And this is, again, respectfully, this is how they feel. But they wrote that people who accept these drinks, the only legitimate reasons they have for taking them are selfishness and alcoholism, which is bananas to me, okay? Just because somebody offers you one and you accept it does not mean that you're selfish or an alcoholic. That is a very two-dimensional way of thinking, and I just cannot, for the life of me, get on board with that whatsoever. They also told me that, you know, it's no different than if you were at McDonald's and somebody bought you French fries. It's the same thing. No, it's not. It's absolutely not the same thing. Because one is French fries, the other is alcohol. If somebody buys your girlfriend French fries at McDonald's and you get jealous over that, then you really have issues. A drink is different because with a drink, every single person who buys a woman a drink, and I'm maybe not every single person, every single stranger for that matter. When you do it, there is the subconscious intention of trying to sleep with that person, okay? At least in the experiences according to every single woman on the planet. Yes, the guy buying a drink for the girl is trying to sleep with her. Yes, you're buying French fries for a person, which is also not a thing. I've never heard of that unless it's like one of those pay it forward things. So it was just a kind of weird way to try to compare the two things. Who's buying women French fries for no reason at McDonald's? I don't get it. So that logic of thinking, I just confused the hell out of me. And one more comment I do want to get to is from Kayla, which I unfortunately agree with because it's the way that it is. Kayla wrote, guys seem to think accepting a drink is an opening whether you say you're taken or unavailable or not. It's a crack in the door they feel they can put their foot in. So no, I'm not in bars to begin with, but even if I were, I will politely decline the drink. Okay, you are correct there, because if you say before this person even buys the drink that you are in a relationship and they say, let me buy you one anyway, and you accept it, unfortunately, those guys still think they have a chance with you, even though you just told them to their face that you have a significant other, whether it be a man or a woman. They still don't care. And that is the sad reality of the state of the world we are in, where guys in bars, douchebags, I might add, still do not care or respect your relationship if you accept the drink. And that's terrible. I agree. That is 100% appalling behavior. And I'm not saying all guys do it, but there are ones that do. And it's an absolute shame. So don't know really if I resolved the issue. It wasn't really an issue, more of a moral debate. There's really no right or wrong answer. You can say yes if it's okay, or you can say no. It really depends on you as a person. Me, I'm not a jealous person. If the person that I'm dating wants to accept it, that's fine. Just be honest with them and be honest with me. Just say, hey, this person bought me a drink. I have no problem with it. Matter of fact, I'll split it with you. And there's other people that say it's absolutely wrong, and that's fine. That's the relationship that you're in. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely not whatsoever. That's how you want your relationship to be ran. Fine. If you want to get in on this, you can head over to the 97X Facebook page, leave your comments, join in on the discussion, and I will be right back.